Hey gang, DVD Collector back in the movie room. Hey gang, welcome back to my favorite films throughout the years. And no, I will not apologize for my completely awesome hat. My son bought this for me on a school trip. And it's a Wampa. And it's fucking cold here. Not necessarily in the house, but yeah, my head will probably sweat to death by the time I get there. But anyway, we're going to the year 2013. I'm not going to be using any time machine travel. I have been asked to stop that by the time machine police. They say that I am abusing the ability to time travel. So, we will just be talking about them now. I'm sorry that's so fucking boring, but plus the fact that I just can't make anything better than the last one. So, let's talk 2013. A pretty good year for film. Overall, a lot of strong titles coming out that year. We'll start with the bottom, and like I always do, I might end up with my number one from the year. But these are in no order. First one I'm going to talk about is Nebraska. Nebraska was kind of a sleeper title for me. I know it was out there with a lot of people, even awards and the award programs and stuff like that. I know it was, god damn it, I know it was fairly popular, but to me, I didn't know a lot about it when I bought it. I bought it on a whim. I thought, you know, this sounds good. Let's see what it is. And turned out to be such an amazing story about a son and his father. And I recommend this very highly to anybody. Next, one that's just kind of a guilty pleasure if those existed. We're talking De Niro and Stallone here with Grudge Match. Not really the best of stories, but to me it was really fun. And I really enjoyed the entire thing. So, great film for me. Next, The Purge. Not only is this a decent to good film, I'm not going to lie. The premise is kind of cool. You know, let's thin out the bad guys here. Let's give us one night to, you know, I'm just going to move on because I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Number 7, Dallas Buyers Club. I was kind of hesitant about this at first because I thought it was one of those films that was just going to play on sympathy a lot. And like, oh, whatever. Matthew McConaughey drew me to this film because he has done so many good projects over the years. Plus, he had recently done, I believe he recently done Mud. Might have been after this, but I think it was before this. And I really have been leading up to watching a lot of his films, especially his earlier stuff, which was really good to me. I think he's a really solid actor. So I did watch this. I was blown away by this. The content of the film had me intrigued anyway. But like I said, I thought it was they were just going to play up and make it sappy, and by no means did they do that. This is a fantastic film. Number 6, Lone Survivor. This is a film that's near and dear to my heart. Being an Army veteran myself, I have a strong draw to these type of films, and Marky Mark blew this away. I mean, this is definitely probably one of, if not the best picture to come out of 2013. This is just so strong and so such an amazing story about these guys that it's really high up there. Next is another kind of sleeper, you know, under the radar film. Chris Evans thinking, hey, I'm between Captain America films, let's make this. So Snowpiercer. Really inventive idea. It's one of those films that I like that takes place in one location. It's not too suspenseful. It's not, it's not a great film, but it's a really decent one to watch for this year, and it was a personal favorite of mine. Not that it did anything. Number 4, The Conjuring, the film that single-handedly brought a little bit of hope for modern horror to myself. I loved every bit of this. I don't care anything about backstories or true, not true about any of this. This was a solid horror film for modern age. Other than that, a lot of these MTV bullshit horror films, MTV Generation, I don't want anything to do with them. But every now and then you find a gem, and this is definitely one of them. And a lot of the films that come after this are in that group too. The next one really surprised the shit out of me, okay? I went into this film thinking this is a remake. And I'm talking about Evil Dead. When I came out of the film, I was thinking to myself, holy fucking shit, they really surprised the shit out of me. I mean, we have the same premise, but we don't have the same story. I loved how they used the drug addiction being part of the story of why they're at the cabin. There's a purpose for being at the cabin. They didn't just do the cabin. Now, back in the 80s, the camping trip to the cabin, that worked too. So we have 2 reasons to go to the cabin, not just, hey, let's go to the cabin, which is kind of the same as the 80s one, but with Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi and those, that really worked. But this one was kind of a little bit, I'm not going to say stronger, but a lot, it had a lot of strength to it, bringing it into that drug rehabilitation thing. And the fact that everybody thought she was having the side effects of, she got back into her drugs. This is why this has happened. Some really gruesome shots in this film. Absolutely enjoyed this. And when I read an article by Bruce Campbell saying, don't think of this as a remake or a reboot or anything like that. Just think of it as a story about the book being in another place. And that right there sold me. And if Bruce Campbell's on board, I can't not be on board. This was a fantastic film, and I've watched it many times since it came out. So, there we go. Next, Wolf of Wall Street. Not my favorite film in the world, but an interesting take on, an interesting story about this guy and all that he did and, where he got from A to B. Once again, not a film you watch over and over again. Probably not a film you watch even every year or a couple years, but still worth the watch to begin with. If you're offended by the word fuck, don't fucking watch it, because there's a lot of fucking times that he says fuck in this fucking film. Okay, and that's kind of the fucking way it goes. Get the fucking idea? But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say that my number 1 film of 2013 is Man of Steel. I am not worried whatsoever what anybody thinks of this film, whether or not it has anything besides, explosions and fight scenes. This is my Superman. This is the Superman that I waited for all my life. Nothing to take away from Chris in the 1970s and 80s Superman. That's what they needed then. This is what I need now. I don't need a fluff piece. I don't need kid-friendly. I need Superman. Superman, to me, would be one of the hardest people to ever write. It would be a story about personal sacrifice, not anything else besides that. A film about confusion. I'm not one of them, but do I stay and help them? Do I want to become one of them? I know I'm from another planet. I know I have these abilities. Do I want to use them to save everybody? So such a great film, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but to me it's damn near perfect. So there it is, 2013. Next week we'll do 2012, where there's not a lot. Um, there's not a lot of meat in 2012, but we'll get there and I'll talk about what I like. Once again, have a great day. Enjoy my hat. Game over.